Yeah, we got us 4 o'clock here in the afternoon in Japan, and need to make a point about Bitcoin here today. There are actually 2 types of Bitcoin in regards to doing online business, right? And I'm going to explain very briefly what those 2 types are, and then place this in a little bit longer training video that expands on the details of what I'm talking about. Now today is November 3rd in Japan, and Bitcoin has been going between $740 to about $744 in that range, right? But I mentioned the word dollars, okay? Well, that's one way that Bitcoin is available. It's tied to the US dollar. There's also a second way that we can work with Bitcoin, and that is where Bitcoin is directly connected to Bitcoin. And I'm going to explain more in detail what I mean by that when I produce this training video for my team members today, right? So look for the expanded version of this. I'll send it over to you guys in either a private email, or I'll post it back up here on Facebook a little bit later today. Now, always keep in mind that my videos are set up with captions and a transcript for those who are deaf, hard of hearing, or ESL viewers. ESL meaning English as a second language viewer. All right, so get a look for that, and then you'll be a little bit more qualified to understand how to deal with Bitcoin as it relates to an online business. All right. Thanks a lot for dropping by. I'll check your comments later. Take care now.
Hi, Dennis Hawkins of DennisHawkinsOnline. All right, let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin here on November 3rd in my time, Japan. Okay, right now we're in the CoinDesk site. We're looking at $740.98. For some of you, maybe you might be looking at it in euro, 666.32 euro. Okay, well, I mentioned earlier in my Facebook live streaming video that Bitcoin price has been fluctuating today between $740 up to $744 in that range. And I also mentioned that there's 2 ways we can deal with Bitcoin. One way is where Bitcoin is tied to the US dollar. Now, I am a member of one revenue share system that has Bitcoin as a choice, along with 2 or 3 other processors. For example, PaySa, and I am also a member of another revshare that deals only with Bitcoin. And in this case, in that revshare, Bitcoin is not tied to the US dollar. All right? In other words, when you fund your account in that revshare, you're going to fund with Bitcoin. When you withdraw, you're going to withdraw with Bitcoin. And when you get earnings in that rev share, your earnings will be in Bitcoin. Now, what's the difference between a Bitcoin tied to the US dollar and Bitcoin that is strictly revolving only around Bitcoin? Well, the difference is, if the US dollar fluctuates, then the price of your Bitcoin fluctuates. Whereas, when you deal with Bitcoin to Bitcoin, you are purely in Bitcoin. So in other words, when you get Bitcoin earnings, those earnings are in pure Bitcoin. So your Bitcoins will increase little by little. Whereas, if your Bitcoin is tied to the dollar, right, then you could actually lose the value of your Bitcoins if the dollar were to run into some kind of difficulty. All right? So imagine if you owned gold and you traded gold for gold, not connected to the dollar at all, you would always be increasing the amount of gold that you have. But if your gold is sold for dollars, right, then your gold value is susceptible to that value of the dollar. Now, this is all very confusing to a lot of people who are completely new to Bitcoin, right? So let me just explain it this way. If you're involved with the rev share that only deals with Bitcoin, then first, you're going to have to buy some Bitcoin, right? And there's several ways in which you can purchase the Bitcoin. We're not going to cover all those ways in this training video today. That's a subject for another video. However, let's take a look at the rev share that deals with Bitcoin to Bitcoin. The name of that rev share is MyPayingCryptoAds. All right? You can see that as of right now, there are 10,813 members, and this MyPayingCryptoAds has not launched yet, right? And they're already over 10,000 members. Let me just refresh and see if that changes. Okay. One additional member when we're refreshed. Okay. So this is going up and up and up. Right? So people who understand Bitcoin and understand that when you can go from Bitcoin to Bitcoin, right, you are eliminating so many excessive cost factors when you put your Bitcoin in and you take your Bitcoin out. All right? So that's one of the essential, important things that we need to remember when dealing with Bitcoin. So I don't think it's negative to have Bitcoin tied to the dollar, but I do feel it's more beneficial if you can deal strictly from Bitcoin to Bitcoin. All right? Now, in the description section of this video, you'll have links where you can contact me on Facebook. You can reach me on Skype, and you can send me an email, right? I feel it's important that, you communicate with a person about the subject of Bitcoin and how it relates to this online business before you jump in all excited to try and get started with Bitcoin and an online business, right? Please educate yourself. Make sure the person that you're communicating with is capable of answering your questions, and then take it from there, all right? Don't do anything in a hurry, right? All right, so thank you for dropping by. Check out the information that you find in the description, and let's communicate soon. All right, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin versus the US dollar. Okay, let's take a look at this chart. You'll be able to see Bitcoin has been moving up steadily. It peaked over here. It's been moving up steadily ever since. All right. Today is November 3rd, and I saw Bitcoin at $744 today. Well, I don't have to tell you, the dollar's been going down steadily since you were born. Since I was born. Since my granddad was born. Okay. Incredible, right? Okay, well, let's look at the next slide here. All right, so Bitcoin debit card. I want you to study the following information and select the debit card that best fits your present situation. Have a look at the chart that's coming up next. Now, let's look at Bitcoin debit cards. I want you to study this chart very carefully. Which kind of Bitcoin debit card is best for you will depend on your own lifestyle and circumstances, of course. So I want you to look through this chart very slowly, very carefully, and then you decide which Bitcoin debit card suits your situation best at this time. I have 3 Bitcoin debit cards. So you will start with the first one that suits your situation, and then gradually, as you become more involved with Bitcoin, you can add a second card or a third card. Continue to read through this information slowly and carefully.